Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you another video. All right, so Lakers happen to be interested in Nick Smith, from what I understand. Nick Smith is a rookie. I think he's out of Arkansas, I believe. One guard, two guard kind of guy, mostly a point guard, looking to get his shot. Really wiggly, can cross people up. Has a lot of talent, but the problem was with him was injury issues. Now, to what extent and what type of injuries, not certain. But from what I understand, that's really what it was. To me, he looks like a body that's going to have to develop. That's the only problem with Nick Smith. I think 3-4 years from now, he could be a really, really dynamic guard, starting guard, probably crossing people up, doing all kinds of special stuff. I can see him reaching up to the level of maybe a Fred VanVleet or something like that, maybe D'Angelo Russell type of level when he fully develops. Maybe even a little better than that. But the problem with him is just starting off his career with injuries makes me concerned. But when you consider the type of style that he plays with, the way that he tends to maneuver, he looks like he belongs on this team. He looks like one of our kind of guys. He looks like somebody who's just seamlessly would fit in to what we do. In my mock draft, I had him going in one of those Brooklyn picks, 21-22. So that's not too far off from 17. I've seen other people have him as high as 14 or something like that. 13, I think, is the highest I've seen. And I've seen him lower than that. So his range can be anywhere. But in looking at him in a nutshell, he looks like a Laker. He looks like a Laker to me. He does. It's just, is he going to be the best value for your pick at 17? And I'm not certain. I know for a fact that we need a point guard, though, given the fact that we got D'Angelo Russell issues. A lot of ambiguity about how best to maneuver around his price and what we want to do for ourselves. From what I understand, they want to give him a small-time deal with maximum money, meaning 2 years max, and that way we can keep it for a year and probably trade it at the deadline next year, or if we love what we see, keep him. But that's kind of how I see the plan for that contract. And you want to have the flexibility of moving on from Dennis Schroeder if necessary. Chris Paul, that whole situation, I don't know what's going to happen in Washington exactly. Obviously, it looks like they're going to waive him. And it looks like we would have a line drive to him, given the fact that he can't go back to the Clippers. So it looks like he likely will end up with us. But is he your answer at point guard? Him, maybe bringing back Dennis Schroeder, D'Angelo Russell, you feel pretty good at point guard. But if you lose two of those guys, which I think is a chance you are going to lose two of those guys, then you probably wanted somebody like Nick Smith or some type of point guard in place to play ball for you, looking to score the ball. We need a score-first point guard for LeBron James to really make sense. You don't necessarily want that player to be pass first. We got Austin Reeves also, who's going to be looking to dish the ball out. So you want somebody who can create for themselves, somebody who can shake people up, combo guy who can just get his own shot and develop into something higher than what you drafted him to be. And I think Nick Smith checks those boxes for our franchise. You just know that if you draft him now while everybody thinks he's injury prone, you can play him up to where he's supposed to be. 2 years from now, he could be a really good player for you. So I am definitely high on him for us. Maybe as a trade down candidate, if we can get one of those Brooklyn picks, I think he may be available there. I don't know if I like him as much as I like Jalen Hood-Schifino, Jordan Hawkins, a couple other guys in the range. I'm not sure I want to leave those guys on the board if I'm the Lakers to take Nick Smith. But just in a nutshell, looking at players that I think will fit what it is that not only we need, but also have the upside that we could be excited about. Yeah, Nick Smith is a very good look for us. I think so. I think he's a good look. So I'm on board. If the Lakers want to draft Nick Smith, if for some reason it makes sense on the draft board to them and we land Nick Smith, I'll be happy. I think he'll be a very good player for us, a lot of upside. I just worry about the injury issues, no different than some of the other guys who were there, like Whitehead. I think Whitehead would be another good piece for us, but you got to temper your expectations for the same reason, injuries. But I don't think Nick Smith's injuries are as serious as Whitehead's two injuries, injured feet that needed surgery. And, it's one of those situations where you just want to make sure that you know the context from which he got hurt, the way he was used, the style he was used with, and all of that. I haven't done as much homework on Nick Smith as I have some of these other prospects in the range. But I do like what I see from Nick. I know that he can move. He's got a lot of good handle ability, can kind of give us some of what it is that we look for in an offensive scorer, point guard next to AD and Austin Reeves. Now, defensively, I don't know what he can do. He looks like he's he's a little slight of size at this point. He's going to have to put on a lot of weight, and I don't even know if he does put on a lot of weight that he'll get much bigger than this. He looks like he's going to be a naturally slender guy. So you're picking him up for his talent, you're picking him up for his scoring ability, and you're picking him up for his combo ability, being able to facilitate some as well, I believe. So he's a pure point guard. That's why I think the Lakers probably want him for their point guard needs, as opposed to a guy like Jordan Hawkins, who's not necessarily a pure point guard, or some of these other guys in the range that are more so of the two-guard ilk. This also signals to me that they would be interested in a guy like Kobe Buffkin, because Kobe Buffkin and Nick Smith kind of comparable in some ways. I think Kobe Buffkin is probably a higher touted prospect, but you look at the body type, even though Buffkin's a long-arm player, you look at them and say they're both slight of build, both looking to play the point guard position, both looking to kind of do similar stuff. So I'd imagine the Lakers are also interested in him, just if I'm thinking that way. And so on and so forth. I don't see them targeting Jalen Hood-Schifino, who's a player I don't think is going to be looking to get his own shot as much as he's going to be looking to make others make others better, and probably help you in some other combo ways, but not nearly as much as maybe Nick Smith will when he fully develops. So these are the type of things I'm just looking at in regards to our draft prospect circumstances coming up, 2 days from now? Draft will be in 2 days, and we got that 17th pick. I think the Lakers will look to move up or down as they see fit, and I think if they move down, it's probably more likely they're going to target Nick Smith if they move down. I don't know if taking him at 17 is, I'm not saying it's risky, but you do leave value on the board depending on who's up there. Depending on who's still on the board, you're definitely leaving value on the board if you take Nick Smith. So I don't know if you care about that. You may not care about that. We've seen many times, like as soon as the draft ends, the first week of preseason, suddenly you have a different look on all the draft picks, and you wish you took a guy a different round or at a different point. So I don't think that really holds much weight once you get the player in. I mean, you can see how fast the tiers change in just one season. One guy that you thought was the 8th overall pick, you wouldn't take in the second round next year. You know what I mean? You don't even think nothing of him. He's getting waived, and you don't want to pick him up. We've seen that so many times. Like, they wanted this guy. They were targeting this guy 12 months ago. Now they send him to the G League as if he has no value, but that's exactly how it goes with prospects. You have that value until you're drafted. Once you're drafted, now you're being assessed by other measures. Now it's about, does he fit on the team he's on? How did he look in his last game? All these type of things that start to play into account once you put on the uniform. So that's what it is, man. But as long as guys haven't been drafted yet, they're extremely valuable. And, you know, you just want to respect that draft tier so that you don't leave any value on the board. So that's why I think trading down for Nick may be the move for the LA Lakers. But, yeah, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on that. I think the more I consider what it is we need, the more I look at that point guard spot and say we probably shouldn't leave this draft without a point guard. Even though I do like some of the other stuff that's there. A guy like Jordan Hawkins is going to be hard to pass up on. But I just don't feel like the Lakers targeting anything other than a point guard is really going to check all the boxes, so to speak. You definitely want to be able to move on from some of these point guards, or not necessarily take on some of this responsibility that's going to force you to take to fill your point guard position. Cap responsibilities, player responsibilities. You'd just rather draft a Nick Smith or a Kobe Buffkin and have that position sold up for the future. And I think that's what Nick would do. If he develops properly, he'll be our starting point guard for the next 6 years. You know what I mean? That's just, you hope he turns into D'Angelo Russell or some variation of that type of talent. So that's what I want to say, man. That's about as much as I know of Nick Smith. I do want the Lakers to continue to study all the way to the final buzzer as it pertains to these draft prospects. Guys like Leonard Miller, we got to make damn sure they're not going to have the best career of all the guys that we're looking at. Because even though you want to fit your need, you may be better getting a guy who averages a double-double. And then look up and find him being the type of piece that you ultimately are happy with no matter what happens. And so that's something the Lakers are going to have to balance out. How much is fit really necessary in the grand scheme of things? When we consider that we're going to have this player past LeBron James' tenure, is he the best player for what it is that we ultimately are going to be? Or would it make more sense to take a Noah Clowney? Would it make more sense to take, I don't know, one of the other players? But That's what I'm looking at. I like guys who can do a lot of things for me. And the reason why I like Jordan Hawkins, even though he doesn't do a lot of things for me, is that he has rare skills. So even though he only has those skills, they're extremely hard to find. And when you find somebody who's an expert at those things, it elevates their value based on the fact that nobody else does those things. So that's how I look at Jordan Hawkins. It's like, yeah, he may be a guy who can only catch and shoot and run people around screens and kind of just do Rip Hamilton type stuff, and that's about it. But how many people in the league really specialize in that? How many people really catch the ball, off the dribble and shoot as well as he does, off the pass and shoots as well as he does, off motion, going in different directions? I mean, he just has extremely rare skills at an extremely elite level. And so it's like you find somebody who can only do what like three people can do, and he does it better than those three people, then he's probably going to be valued at a higher level than most. And so that's why I like Jordan Hawkins. That's why I probably don't leave him on the board at 17, because I just know I'm bringing in a rare, skilled specialist, which don't come around all the time. So when you look at a guy like Malik Beasley, he's an upgrade. He's an upgrade, and he's going to be able to do a lot of what you want Malik to do, and that is why you take him. So I don't know that he's even going to be on the board at 17. I actually have him going to the Hawks at 15. But I would love for the Lakers to bring him in, even though he doesn't necessarily fill our point guard position, for which we will need to fill. So that's when it becomes impossible, really. But yeah, I'm a firm believer that the Lakers will probably just bite the bullet and take a point guard. I think that now that we're here, Lively at the center position also is something they can bite the bullet and do. But I really think you can fill that point guard position a lot less easier, which is why you want to get that point guard. And since there's so many guards in the range, it's a lot of guards in our range. We're going to get one. It probably just makes sense to do it. So I kind of want to trade down and get the 2 picks from the Nets if possible, or 2 more picks from someone else, so we can have more than one prospect. Get the point guard and another prospect we like. That'll allow us even more flexibility, more assets. So I don't know. If the Lakers can turn 1 pick into 2. I think in the grand scheme of things, they're probably happy they did that. So I don't know. We will see. The Kristaps Porzingis rumors are heating up in regards to where he could go. I think our place is a good option for him, as we talked about. The Wizards undoubtedly want to get rid of contracts that are up in range. So obviously getting rid of him is a no-brainer. That's definitely something they should be looking to do. And so I think that the LA Lakers are one of the firm landing spots that you would look at. Bamba, as we said yesterday, and Malik Beasley, I think, should probably get it done. Maybe you have to throw in Shaq Harrison or something like that. You don't care about that. You just throw in those contracts, maybe 17, and get back Porzingis and maybe another Wizards pick. Yeah, that's how I would want to do it. They'd have to give me back something that represents in this draft. And I don't know if they'd be willing to do that with Porzingis coming off a really good season. But I need draft capital for myself. And Porzingis can be a little injury prone, so you're looking at 2 front court guys that you could argue may not be on the floor at some given moment. So we got to be ready for that. And that's where my head goes, really. I'm thinking about just what the Lakers are going to have as options. You definitely want to put yourself in a position to fill all of these needs with this win now timeline. So it kind of throws off what it is that you probably think is most wise just on your big board, you know what I mean? Which is something I want to caution Rob Pelinka and Jeannie for going against. If your big board has it so that you see a player that you thought would be around at 12, but you want to fill this need, so you're going to take Nick Smith at 17 when you could really get him at 22, that is not what I want my team to do. I would rather us trade around to make everything that we actually land represent the value that it's supposed to represent. So trade down, pick that player and trade him to a team that's in love with him if you happen to land him or something like that, because that ultimately gives us the most value on draft night. And you could parlay that value. If you truly don't believe in that player, you just trade him right away. You trade him for what you want and get what you're supposed to get on top of that value. That's how you do it. So that's where my head is. Hopefully the Lakers are valuing everything they have and getting proper price tags for everything that they have. And if we do that, we'll be better than a lot of teams who are betraying that, as we're clearly seeing around the league. So that's what I have to say, man. I'm expecting some trades to pop off before the draft, which means that probably today and tomorrow we should be seeing some type of something. Obviously, Bradley Beal was the first ball to drop, and there will be more. There will be more. Kyle Kuzma is going to officially be a free agent. That's one of those unexpected names that nobody thought would be a free agent. I don't think the Lakers are going to be going after him because he's probably going to want $22 million, and we could use $22 million in other areas. But if we were to lose somebody we don't expect to lose, I think Kyle Kuzma may be around. If you lose Rui and lose Austin, which I don't expect the Lakers will allow to happen. But if for some reason that were to happen, I think Jeannie would turn her attention to getting Kuz back on the squad. NBA champion Kuz with the Lakers. Obviously, he's already proven he can win it with us in this role. I just don't like him in that role, period. Even though we won a championship with him doing it, that's not what's best to get the most out of that piece. Send him back down to a 12-point-per-game scorer, and that is just not who he developed into being in Washington. So I see him going somewhere else, maybe going to the Kings. if for some reason they don't draft Chris Murray and do lose Harrison Barnes, Kuzma comes in and fills that role, in my opinion. I know a lot of people think they're going to draft Noah Clowney. That makes sense because they like centers like that, but they got a bunch of them too. Lynn, Kada, several other guys too playing the center position. Holmes, I think, might be a free agent. So I don't know if the overall consensus with them taking Clowney is the best place for Clowney when you consider how much depth they have in that front court, including Sabonis. So I'm just listening to what people are saying. I got them taking Chris Murray. I think that's the best way for them to go. Just draft Keegan's twin, and you'll be good to go. That's what I think Sox should do. But they may have other things on their mind. And so these are things I'm looking at, just kind of surfing around the web for players. As a new guy that I have on my list that I think should be considered in the first round. Ben Shepherd, kind of a late bloomer. I saw some footage on him. That dude is very fluid, very legit offensive scorer, very aggressive. I think he's going to be a dog. So Ben Shepherd is now on the map. I didn't know of him when I did my mock draft, but if I could do it all over again, he'd go in the late 20s. He would be in there before the Clippers draft. So I just wanted to upgrade that. Olivier Maxence Prosper, I mention him all the time. I've told y'all I thought he was probably the 24th highest rated prospect. After I said those words, I've been seeing him drafted around that range. So I think most people see it the way I do. You don't want to leave him on the board. And I think a guy by the name of Kobe Brown is better than people think too. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the first round, just because if people see what I see, he's one of the more complete players in the entire draft. He really is. He can do a little bit of everything on both sides of the floor. So when you consider that, it ain't too hard to tell that person's draft stock isn't necessarily what it should be. It probably should be raised if we're all paying attention. So these are things I'm thinking about. Ben Shepherd, Omax, who else? There's a couple others too. Got to pay attention to. So that's what I want the Lakers to just do a little homework on. A guy like Ben Shepherd, if you trade down, you happen to get one of them Indiana picks, you're going to be happy about getting a guy like Ben Shepherd, Kobe Brown, Kobe Jones. All these guys are really good in the back of that draft. So we need to do more study into those guys in the 47 range. I wouldn't mind trading out of 47 and trading up in the second round, if that makes any sense. Take 47 and turn it into 32 or something. You know what I mean? That kind of thing I think would be better, because once you get in the 47 range, you're in the back of the second round. All the most exciting stuff in the second round is gone by the 47th pick, and you're dealing with the guys that people, that kind of thing. Get me out of 47, trade that, match that with 17, and get me in a better range in the second round. I hope that's what I want to see. 47 is, with our scouts, we probably get somebody really good, and for all I know, it'll be somebody we love. So if the scouts see somebody at 47 that's dope, forget what I said anything. But for me, all of the best picks in the second round probably end somewhere in the 40 range, about 42, 43. That's when the sexy names of the second round should be gone. So that's really what it is, man. Some of them, the second round looks pretty good. I ain't been this excited about the first half of the second round maybe in my life. These guys, most of the second round guys in that range should probably go in the first round. So that's what I want to tell people. It becomes a pretty good draft even as you go into the first couple picks of that second round. So yeah, that's what I want people to see. Players that we thought would go in the first round might actually fall there. Who knows who that would be, but it's a lot of shake-up. So a guy like Brandon Podzinski, I don't know where he's going to go. Maxwell Lewis, a lot of people think he's going to go in the first round, but with the emergence of some of these other guys, who knows? It's just going to be a good start of the second round. That's all it is. One of the best starts of the second round maybe in our lifetime. So that's what I want to say, man. That is what I want to say. Don't sleep on none of those guys, because there should be some high impact players everywhere you look within this draft. So that's what I got to say. I appreciate everybody for watching BDL 44, and I'm out.